Football is one sport that will make you feel a lot of different things. Fear, joy, sadness, heartbreak, nostalgia, elation, you name it.
Cadela forte, que os caras vão bater aqui, mas não vão entrar. Ela tá forte. Ela tá forte.
But one thing football will also always do is make you laugh. And that's what we want to focus on today. Ladies and gentlemen, come with me as we look at some of the funniest moments in football history. And we'll start with a pretty recent one. Erling Haaland versus Ben Godfrey. In the Premier League game between Man City and Everton at the Etihad in the 2022-23 season, Ben Godfrey gave Haaland a really tough time. But Haaland did not let it get to him. At least, not too much. He only reacted by also being physical and then mocking the defender during the game. Watch this.
Given as good as given it was great to watch. You know, there's the reaction when he scores. That's fine. You're allowed to do that. That's what you're.
LOL. Who knows what Haaland was even saying there? And you know what this reminds me of? Rudiger man-marking Haaland in the Champions League. It was the first leg of the Champions League semi-final between Real Madrid and Man City, and the defending champions were not at all ignorant of Haaland and the threat he posed. So Ancelotti put Rudiger on the Norwegian and made sure he was with him at all times. Rudiger, being a very dedicated soldier, took his duty very seriously, and he had a very unique way of marking the top scorer on the continent. Take a look at this. Rudiger really just invented a new way of marking your opponent. And even though it's hella funny, you have to say it worked a treat because Haaland did not even get as much as a sniff of goal in that game. But hey, Rudiger is just a naturally funny fella, and I sincerely do not understand why he does some of the things he does. Like the trademark Rudiger run, for example. Again, I don't know why Rudiger does this run, but it never fails to make me laugh every time I see it. You know what else will never stop making me laugh? This chop-back Aaron Wan-Bissaka tried to pull off. Come take a look at it. Obviously, the defender had studied C. Ronaldo so closely before that game, but considering the homework he brought to the pitch, I have to say, that was an F Ronaldo. He'll definitely have to repeat the chop-back classes. And they must be laughing a lot in that Man United dressing room because Casemiro is so funny without even trying. I mean, look at this.
Cadela forte, que os caras vão bater aqui, mas não vão entrar. Ela tá forte.
The look he gave Thiago Silva after that third punch made me fall off my seat. My boy was probably like, "Why you punching me? You know I'm not the problem. I'm a baller." Speaking of ballers, Mario Balotelli is definitely one. But this miss is one of the funniest I have ever seen in football. Like, you could really just have put the ball in the back of the net the easy way. But trust Balotelli to always try to be extra. The coach was so pissed. He took Balotelli off immediately. And speaking of, you know coaches can be really funny too. For real. Come look at Jurgen Klopp, the Liverpool boss, celebrating in the face of the fourth official and pulling a hamstring immediately after will never not make me laugh. And since we're talking of funny manager moments, let me present to you the funniest one I have ever seen in a final. Alan Pardew dancing in the FA Cup final in 2016. Honestly, if my player scored a crazy goal like that in the FA Cup final against Manchester United in the 78th minute of the game, I would dance too. And to be honest, the dance on its own is very funny, but the fact that Crystal Palace eventually lost that game just made it 10 times funnier. So rule number 1 for coaches, do not dance. But a little theatrics is permissible, especially if you're Louis van Gaal. You guys remember this, right? No way I'm ever forgetting. It was a huge game between Arsenal and Man United, and Van Gaal thought the fourth official wouldn't understand if he just told him about Alexis Sanchez's diving, so he decided to act it out on the touchline. LVG is such a character, man. But could we even talk about managers who are characters and not mention Jose Mourinho? With the Portuguese gaffer, there'll always be a lot of moments to choose from, but my favorite has to be when Mourinho ran to the fourth official in a Premier League game against Manchester City. This whole 30 seconds is just pure comedy. Come take a look. So at first, Mourinho is all smiles when the decision goes his way. But then, his assistant starts putting some thoughts about a booking into his head. And Jose, being the perpetual villain that he is like, "You know what? That's a good way to start some trouble. I love it." And he immediately runs towards the fourth official. Everything about the clip is just too funny, man. The laugh at first, the switch up, and then the cartoon-like run. For real, how can you not love Mourinho? This man is an entertainer. Enough of the coaches. Let's now get back to the players. This one I'm about to show you is so strange, it's rib-crackingly hilarious. Granit Xhaka's brother Taulant Xhaka, who plays for Basel, was involved in a very comical VR incident recently. See what happened. For those that are still confused, here's what happened. So, in stoppage time of a league game between Basel and FC Zurich, Taulant Xhaka received a second yellow, which meant he had to walk, right? Well, he went down the tunnel, only for the referee to call him back saying that VAR had overturned the decision. Xhaka was probably thinking, oh, I've been proven innocent. But in reality, he was found more guilty. The referee cancelled the second yellow, and then immediately issued him a straight red card. That was just so funny and unnecessary. Like, bro, he already got sent off anyway. Why call him back just to send him off again? Don't play with a man's emotions like that.
Für den FCB. Und vielleicht nicht die letzte. Es kommen wieder die Emotionen. Und jetzt muss man aufpassen, dass das Ganze nicht.
Anyway, before I leave, let me just give you a few quick tips on how not to celebrate in football. Tip 1. Don't be like Michy Batshuayi. Even if the goal was too crazy and was scored in a World Cup game, never be like Batshuayi. Tip 2. Don't be like Christian Pulisic.
Second goal in the European Champions League.
Now, just in case you've been living under a rock and you don't know what dance is supposed to look like, watch this. Now, Pulisic, I love you, yeah, and I'm not asking you not to dance to celebrate your goals. All I'm saying is that you make sure you have done the dance a lot of times in front of your mirror before you attempt it in front of a crowd of tens of thousands of people on a Champions League night. Tip 3. Don't be like Ciro Immobile.
To go with it as you look at the celebration and the...
Again, another case of overexcitement. Even if you just won the Euros, don't be like Ciro Immobile. Or at least, don't attempt a chest slide unless your shorts are very tightly fastened. We are not interested in seeing your tighty whities on live TV. Signed, Lovers of Football. Oh, and since we're talking of Ciro Immobile, I just could not leave out this moment. When a goal made Ciro Immobile rise from the dead. Take a look at this.
If you look at him, he's kind of goes down. Look, oh, he's trying desperately to get the penalty. Oh, I'm in agony, I'm in agony, I'm in agony.
I know a lot of you might call this shameless, but I call it so darn hilarious. Surely there are some more hilarious football moments that I didn't mention in this video. Go ahead and give me some more in the comments.